Hello everyone, my name's Kaz and today we're going to talk about the books I'm hoping to read in the month of February. So there are two readathons I'm participating in February. The first one is the Pondathon, which actually started on the 24th of January. It goes until the 7th of March and there are no reading prompts, which is great because I have reading prompts for the second readathon. And that one is the To Be Continued readathon, which is all about sequels and series. So I'm going to walk through all of the reading prompts for that and talk about which books I'm hoping to read. I'll also have some links in the description below for both readathons in case you want to know a little bit more or you're interested in participating as well. And now for a word from our sponsor. Skillshare is an online learning platform with thousands upon thousands of classes on a whole range of topics like improving your reading, bullet journaling, decluttering, and even productivity. I'm taking a class right now by Thomas Frank on how to build habits that last, aka how to build a really good reading habit so I can actually get through my monthly TBRs of like 15 books. Maybe a bit of a work in progress. So if you're looking to develop new skills, find your passions, and indulge in your creativity in 2020, I would really honestly give Skillshare a try. I've been using it for quite a few months now and I really like how the classes are set up so that you can easily fit it into your busy schedule. Their premium membership gives you unlimited access to all of the classes and it's a pretty reasonable price as well. If you get the annual subscription, it ends up being a little bit less than $10 US a month. But if you guys are interested, I have a link in the description below, and if you click on that, you can get 2 months of the premium membership for free. So if it sounds like something you're interested in, I would really recommend giving it a try. Click on the link below, sign up for 2 months free, take advantage of the unlimited access to all of the classes, and see if you like it. Thank you so much Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and let's continue with the TBR. See, this is why I shouldn't pre-film things, because then I miss out on important information that comes after it. So I'm also low-key hosting and participating in the Tome Topple Readathon Round 10 running from the 7th of February until the 20th of February. I'll have a link down below to Sam from Thoughts on Tomes' announcement video. Haven't had time to do one of those myself. Like I said, low-key hosting this time. But the Tome Topple Readathon is all about reading books over 500 pages. I will mention one book right now that I didn't mention when I filmed this video because again, I pre-recorded this before finding out what the February book of the month was for the book club I co-host, and that is Seven Blades in Black by Sam Sykes. This is a tome. It is a huge one. What I know so far is that it's a fantasy. The main character is in jail on death row and is basically being forced to tell the story of what happened to lead them up into jail. It's one of those books where the main story is framed with a backdrop of something that happens to the characters afterwards and then they're telling their story, like The Name of the Wind. I'm really excited about it, so reading that book as well this month. So the To Be Continued readathon is broken up into 7 levels and each one has 2 or 3 prompts. Basically you have to complete all of the prompts within a level before you can continue on to the next level. So this is going to be interesting. There's 15 prompts total, so it's a little bit ambitious, just a smidge. First of all, level 1, standalone. The first prompt is top of the TBR pile. That for me is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. A Curse the Dark and Lonely was one of my favourite books of 2019. This is one of my most anticipated releases of 2020, and this is also on my list of 20 books to read in 2020, so I think this is pretty far up my TBR pile. As I mentioned, sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Prompt number 2 is The Journey. So this is any book within the middle of a series, so you can't do duologies, and that is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. So this is the sequel to Children of Blood and Bone, which I really loved, and I'm so excited to read this one. Since all of the books I'm talking about today are sequels, I'm not going to go in depth in the synopsis. If I can remember, I will be super brief about the first book. So this series is a West African inspired fantasy. Magic has disappeared. Or has it? Prompt number 3 is the grand finale, the long-awaited conclusion to a series. This one is The King of Crows by Libba Bray, the final book in the Diviners series, which I've been thoroughly enjoying. I've been listening to all of them on audiobook, so definitely listening to the audiobook for this one. Now we're moving on to level 2, and prompt number 4 is to read an adaptation. So this is not like a direct adaptation of a TV show. It's a continuation of a TV show, but in comic book format. And that is Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Rift Part 1. If you haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, you are missing out. My favourite show of all time. And I'm so glad that we have comics continuing the story. So these comics are set after the show ends. Prompt number 5 is This Just In, a new release. For this one, I'm going to read Come Tumbling Down by Shonen Maguire. So this is the 5th book in the Wayward Children series. These books are portal fantasies about children who step through doorways into magical worlds. Some of them come back and have trouble adjusting. And I believe that in this one, Come Tumbling Down, we follow Jack, who is one of the main characters in the 2nd book, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and we also meet them in book 1. Now we're on to level 3. Prompt 6 is Catch Up. So this one is to read a popular series that you haven't read yet. With this one, I'm going to be continuing a popular series with the next installation that I haven't yet read, and that is Saga Volume 9. When Saga first started coming out, it blew up all over booktubes, so it's definitely a popular series. Haven't read Volume 9 yet, so gonna pick it up. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm trying to sneak in as many short books as possible because I have quite a few large books on the TBR pile as well, so hopefully it makes it easier to read more books. Prompt number 7 is Hiatus, and this is to read a book from a series that is not yet completed. For this one, I'm going to go with Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice Oseman. So this is the 3rd book in the Heartstopper series. It's a brand new release. It's coming out in February. Volume 3 isn't even out yet, so definitely incomplete. The Heartstopper series follows Nick and Charlie, who you might recognize from Solitaire by Alice Oseman. Now we're moving on to level 4. Challenge number 8 is Tangent. So for this one, you can read anything that is related to a series. So it can be a companion, a prequel, series of novellas. For this, I'm going with Bitter Blue by Kristen Cashore. So the Graceling trilogy is a series of companion novels. The first one, I can't even remember her name. We follow a particular character. The 2nd book, Fire, is actually kind of set before Graceling in a completely different part of the world, following a character named Fire. Bitter Blue is set after Graceling, but I believe follows one of the characters, like one of the side characters from Graceling. So works perfectly for this one. And in this world, there are people who have graces. So these are just magical, special types of abilities. Challenge number 9 is Welcome Home, and this is to reread. So for this one, I'm gonna preface this because I done fucked up. I'm about to go and say how I'm gonna reread Fire Study, the 2nd book in the Poison Study series by Marie V. Snyder. Fire Study is book 3. I'm meant to be talking about Magic Study, book 2, which I did read. I just pulled both of the books off the shelf and then immediately got confused about which one was which book in the series. So, excuse me, I'm about to talk about Fire Study, I mean Magic Study. And then later on, I will talk about Magic Study, I mean Fire Study. Sorry to confuse everyone. I will just put the actual proper book up on the screen, just ignore the book title that I get very, very wrong. So for this one, I'm doing Fire Study. I'm pretty sure this is the 2nd book in the series. So I'm rereading Fire Study because I read this a while ago, can't remember what happens. In a few prompts, I'll be mentioning Magic Study, but this is the sequel to Poison Study. Okay, it's been a while since I read Poison Study, but I think the character is either given an opportunity to escape prison or a death sentence, I can't remember which one it is, by becoming the king's food taster, and basically is making sure that he doesn't get poisoned. So this is the 2nd book, and I'm obviously prepping for the 3rd book, which, like I mentioned, prompt coming up. Level 5, prompt number 10 is I Like Them Another. So this is to read from your favorite author. One of my favorite authors is Victoria Schwab, and I've decided to read volume 2 of The Steel Prince, which is the graphic novel series. I do own it. I don't know where my copy is right now. I will find it and read it in February. So this graphic novel series is a prequel to A Darker Shade of Magic and follows Rai's father. Challenge number 11 is Tale as Old as Time, and this is to read the sequel with the oldest publication date. Now, I'm not sure how accurate this is. I don't have an up-to-date list of all of the books I own, so I'm just going with a wild guess. I think A Clash of Kings is one of, if not the oldest publication date on my shelf. I'm sure I'm probably wrong, but I can't be bothered to go hunting. Plus, I'm already partway through this one, so I'd like to finish it. So I'm just using this opportunity. So this is a sequel to A Game of Thrones. Don't think I need to say any more about that. Now we're into level 6. Challenge 12 is Hipster. So this is to read a hidden gem, something that's not very popular or well known. I don't think that this series is unpopular, but for me, I'm making the definition of this as not popular on BookTube. So this is a series that I've heard maybe 1, maybe 2 people talk about before. It's very, very rarely discussed, and that is the Old Kingdom series by Garth Nix. The first book is Sabriel, and I would like to read the 4th book, Clariel. So first book in the series is Sabriel. We have the Old Kingdom where magic is abound, and in this world we have the Aborson who wields 7 bells. It's kind of a little bit necromancy, like each of the bells does a different thing to the dead, or like forcing the living into death, blah blah blah. All great, wonderful, love this series. Challenge number 13 is procrastination. So this is the sequel that's been on your shelf the longest, like the one that's been waiting for you to pick it up for the longest time, and that is Magic Study. I do have a list of the books that I hauled at the start of my channel, and this is the first sequel to come up, alongside A Clash of Kings, but it's already on the list. So this one, gonna read it. Okay, we're now up to level 7, so 2 more challenges to go. I don't think I mentioned this as well, but you're allowed 1 wild card, and that is basically you can choose 1 prompt that you can just ignore and read any other sequel in its place. I'm doing that for the final prompt. But prompt number 14 is I Bet You Thought You'd Seen the Last of Me. So this is a book from a previously completed series. I think I'm twisting the intention of this one a little bit. I think it's more like the Shatter Me trilogy, then there's like another trilogy that's come after that. But I'm interpreting this my way so I can read these books. I'm going to go with a TV show that is complete and now it's come out with comics so that I can read Avatar: The Rift Part 2. And then prompt number 15 is second chance. Maybe you didn't like the last book that you read in a series, but people have been raving about the sequel. This is your chance to like give that series a second chance. I'm going to ignore that one and instead read The Rift Part 3. I have 15 books that I would like to read in February. Very, very ambitious. But that's all that I have for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in a new video, but until then I will talk to you in the comments. Bye!